Hello, everybody. I just wanted to pop back on here and let you know that um, what the title says, which is basically why we draw triangles, how to draw triangles during periods of non volatility, which equates into what we call sideways chop. Um, and what eventually establishes new channels. And I'll share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. And this is what it is. This is what it looks like. So on this chart, we're looking at Bitcoin because Bitcoin at this point in 2021, now Bitcoin is the whale of the crypto. It is the OG. It affects all other cryptocurrencies. Remember that cryptocurrency, any token, represents basically your stake or interest in that underlying technology. What I mean by that is it's just a way for you to basically own shares in a company as though you were on an exchange like the New York Stock Exchange. And what we're doing is we're looking at companies, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an asset like gold in which you buy it to hold it for the long term. You want to hold it for a minimum of 4 years before trading Bitcoin to maximize your full gain potential on that. Usually you can see 4x return in 4 years. And this is traditionally been the case. Anybody that's held Bitcoin for any more than 4 years, for 4 years or longer, has not seen a loss on their investments. So that means whether you invested 100,000, 10,000, $100,000 or more, if you held that for 4 years, you essentially doubled. You always have an opportunity to double your money at the minimum, if not quadruple it. And this is generally the case. So what's happening right now in the market is a determination of we experienced the halving of Bitcoin in 2020. It reached a new high. That's been pretty clearly established, but 2021 is not over yet. A lot of people are saying it's going to push to 100 and find a support level at 60,000. Other people, like the bears, believe we've seen the top, it's come and gone. That $65,000 a coin, we're not going to see that again until the next halving 4 years from now, when it will do that push up again. And if we do, it'll happen sometime during the next 4 years. But that has a lot to do with institutional investors and a lot of other fundamental analysis factors that come into play. What's happening in the news, right? So that's what fundamental analysis is versus technical analysis is what we use, and just to see what's actually happening in the market on a minute to minute basis, an hourly basis, or a weekly basis. All right. So here's the point of this video and what I wanted to pop on here for. This is the Bitcoin chart. I drew this channel before last weekend. I drew it on the 26th of May, as indicated here. I drew it from a low to a high, back down to this low that was established, and a new high that was established. And then by doing that, it automatically plots this triangle for me. And you can see that as the day is coming on, I'm having a daily candle. So each one of these candles, either red or green, represents 1 day in time. And it's moving up. And we're at the top of this triangle. It's compressing, it's getting smaller. That means there's more and more energy building up. And usually what happens is there's a breakout if it gets above one of these lines, one or the other. Now let me zoom in on this and you can see what I'm seeing. And what we're seeing here is, from the time I charted it, the wick of this candle touched exactly right here at that 40,338 before it started a downward trend here. And then the wick touched exactly here at 33,754. So 33,754 to this right here, which is basically, 40,000. Okay, so I went from 40,000 down to this 33. Then The next candle actually wicked out a little bit lower, just a few $100s, but it was a green candle. The sentiment had changed as indicated as on the RSI. The crossover wasn't quite here yet, but it quickly changed. And we see it here as well on the MACD, changed right here on this candle to being clearly a bullish candle and pushing up, where we're back on the line at about $34,000 is a new low. So what happens here? As we consolidate, the lows are becoming higher and the highs are becoming lower. So this is today. We're at 38 as opposed to the last high. The last time it touched this top line, it was at 40. So that's $2,000 difference in this coin. Now, if you're only buying $25, $50, that's not a big difference. Okay. So it really isn't. It's just literally like you're only going to get a couple more dollars of value. But when you're buying, hundreds of dollars, these numbers become more important. Nonetheless, we all want to buy low and sell high. And the speculation right now is, okay, there's going to be a breakout here any day now, because you can see we only have this many more days to go. The width of these candles, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days max before this breaks out. There's no more room. It's not going to move sideways exactly, between like 36 and 37,000. That's highly, highly unlikely. It is more than likely going to create a new candle either above or below that. And what that has to do with is fundamental analysis, the conversation that is happening in the news right now. So we're going to talk about triangles. This is when you draw a triangle. It's not as important to draw triangles in times of high volatility when there's massive swings, but in times of like, okay, basically the big bear whales aren't making any big moves and the big bull whales aren't making any big moves. They're having a conversation and the market's pretty calm. Okay, so here's what I want to take a look at this too. What you see here on this stochastic is that this is overly bought. Okay, so above this bar range right here, this is overly bought. This is going to cross over and start coming down. It's going to come down into your range. And the question is, how far will it come down? If it comes down to here, we'll see it test and break out on the low side. And if it does that, technically, this 31,000 where it broke out here low again, if it reaches all the way down here, it will continue to go further down. That's the guess. And this has been my guess for a while, is that it's going to break out to a bear side. And so, like I said, I don't want to I basically just don't want Bitcoin to go up above, like, I don't want to have to buy it at $50,000, $60,000 a coin. And really, who wants to buy a $40,000, even $40,000? But this is where we're at. So right now, we're testing this again right here. We tested 38 today. And then tomorrow, where I had my buy-in, it was like 35,000. You could see, I thought that was going to happen today. I was hoping that it would cross over today and push down hard. It didn't happen. It's really testing this top to see if it can break out. So, but it doesn't look like there's enough volume to make that happen. But you could see the length of this volume line right here on the MACD was what it took to create this kind of candle and push it down to like 36, and then continued the momentum to push the price down to what was seen here at 30,775 a coin before the momentum started. The whales lost control here. There's a cross. They touched. We didn't know what was going to happen, but they lost control, and the bulls pushed it back up to here. And now we're having this consolidation. So it'll probably drop down around this range again for another day. Will there be a breakout to the low side? Well, if there is, it's going to happen either tomorrow or the following day before, more than likely, the bulls will take control. And at that point, there will be a breakout to the upside. This is my prediction. So if we don't see a breakdown that touches at least 30,000, or I should say safely below this, whatever this line is right here. So again, if we're looking at this as a width of a day, if I want to buy here, I would buy it at 36020. Okay. This is going to be the no low. So if I want to pick up some Bitcoin and hedge my bets in case the bulls do take control, I would change my buy from, so I'm going to look for what's my highest buy. I have two set here at 35,383 and a 35,283. Okay. So these still might happen if it breaks out tomorrow and goes down to the downside. But if it doesn't, then I'll know tomorrow. And at that point, the lowest I'll be able to buy it is at this 36,251. So I can hedge my bets, and see as it can break out, and I'll get, we might be able to buy it as low as 30,000, either to, buy this weekend. But this is what it's looking like. It's looking like this is overbought, and according to the MACD on the daily, it looks like there's some momentum being built up to the high side. So I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So I kind of want to hedge my bets and pick up a little Bitcoin here, even as high as 38, even as high as it is right now. But I think I'm going to go with the stochastics. I think it's going to come back down and touch this line one more time. I think we're going to have a little bit more consolidation. So I'm going to buy here in about 36020. And that's how triangles can help, because where I had it set, prior, I was thinking it would go down to like a 35 range, like here, the bottom of the line, 355557, didn't touch there. So, and it didn't happen today. It didn't turn around today. It still continued higher, tested the top line. You can see some of these, this is what's happened. It's come down high, boom, and it's ping-ponging, and it's consolidating its energy and building up in here. So I would say right here is probably the lowest chance we're going to have, 36020. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my highest one here. I'm going to cancel this. Order canceled. And then I'm going to change this to this 36020. I said 36. Probably somewhere right in there. 362,200 kind of. So I could say 36111, 36. I'll just say, just we'll hedge it out and say let's do 36200. Okay. About there. 36. And you could even say it might see this 36,111, because you can see these wicks have pushed through generally. So if it does turn around and hit this, that's what we'll see. So, but this is the range right here. Tomorrow, it's either going to have a high here, it's going to have a low here, or it's going to break through one way or the other. But this is how triangles can help. And the way to draw them is to, just draw them from the low to the highs. And I'll show you that in just a second. So bear with me here. All right. So first of all, I want to change this. Click on 100. It's $43 I got there. And you can see if I bought it, if I do this, if I say, okay, well, what if I bought it at 35,000? How much would 100 instead of 42? Oh my God, it got me barely anything more, right? Well, what if I buy it at, what if we go, what is this doing? Say 38,000 coin. It would cost me 41.20 as opposed to 36. 232. It's going to cost me that much. All right. So, and here's the amount of BTC, right? So the cost, this is all the money I have. So it's either going to, at this price, it would earn me 0.0120 at a 38,000. For the same price, I would get that much less. I'd only have 1.113. So I'm going to say, okay, well, 3620, give me 120. If I go down to, if I wait and say, what about that 355? Gives me two, what is this? 4 decimal places of a two more Bitcoin. So do we wait and see what this happens, or do we play it safe and pick some up? Well, I'm gonna pick some up. So we're gonna change this to 36,200. Lucky number there at the end, 100, and we'll buy it. Now, let me show you. Hold on. Okay, order placed. Now, here's how we chart this. So, what you want to do, you need to be in an exchange that has some type of charting availability. And in this case, we'll click this, and here's all the different type of patterns you can draw. I don't know what these ones are, like an Elliott triangle wave. Don't know, but this triangle pattern is the one that I use. And what we want to do is say, okay, well let's see what's happening here. If we say this was the high here, we'll draw it from. Well, we'll start here down at C. Let me see what's going on. Okay, yeah, it's there. Okay, so if I go and we change this, so I want to put it here, and then you go from the low to the high to the last lowest low there, and then you can see, okay, now it's creating this wedge pattern, and we're gonna take it out to what is this high, and provided that it finishes there, that's how you get your triangle. Okay, so this is validating that this triangle was correct, basically. This is all the motion we have to consolidate before there's a breakout, either to the upside or the downside. And that's it. So now I said, well, I said if I'm thinking the bulls are going to take control, you say, well, you only got this a couple more days before there's a breakout, so you might as well just buy it here. It's not going to be that much of a difference if you want to get in some Bitcoin and not wait. This is all it is. Just if you want to wait, it kind of gives you an idea. Triangles give you an idea of like how many days you have left. Because if you look at the width of this, and this is on a date, each candle's a daily right here. 1 day represents 1 day. The width is standard. So I said, well, this is 1, 2, basically 3 more days. And it's going to be forced one way or the other out of this triangle. And then you look at these. This says it looks like it's going to go up. This one says, well, it's already high. It looks like it actually is going to turn around up here and come back down. So I think it's going to come back down, can test here, and then eventually it might finish up this way. See if I could draw that for you. Because let's see here. Where did I see this? Yeah, so if this is the candle here, and it drops down tomorrow, this is all the higher it's going to get today. Tomorrow it drops down to here. it'll probably finish. It'll probably the next day it'll break through. This is what I'm expecting to happen. I think it's going to come down tomorrow, touch around here, and then the next day it's going to break to the upside. And actually, I think it could break all the way up to here. That's a 35% increase if this happens. So, and the reason I think this is going to happen is because here's the triangle. I see the width of a day. So tomorrow it'll form a new bar here. And based on this, this looks like it could actually continue. It might bust out of here tomorrow. Or if it does continue down, it'll hit here and then be based on the momentum gathering here in volume, it'll probably break out. So I think I think it's actually going to break out to the upside. Um, and does that mean it's going to go way up above 60? No, it doesn't. But if it does create a new candle up above 60, it's probably never going to see this price point for a very long time, if ever. And that's it. So I hope this was helpful for you to draw triangles in times of indecision, non-volatile markets where there's a compression. It's just what we call sideways movement of consolidation and compression because nobody's super bullish and nobody's super bearish. But as this happened, people kind of lose patience, and there's going to be a move. I predict it's going to be to the upside at about 35%, and that I think if I'm right, then it's a good time to buy. But like I said, I'm not overly concerned, and I'm actually, but I did move up, one of my buys into the 36. So I did hedge it up a little bit, but not too much. And I'll just watch it tomorrow. And that's what you're going to have to do too. Keep an eye on it. Set your alerts in whatever charting software. Usually there's some way for you to set an alert. Let's see. Where is it? Well, I know where it is on my mobile. So I'll send an alert and say, hey, if this thing breaks up, and this is the other thing with the triangle, if it breaks above this point right here, if it breaks above 38.5, I want to know, because if it hits 40, it's going to probably push all the way up to 50 and test this 50 line, or at least this margin right here, which is about 48.7 to 50. So somewhere in 48.50, it's going to test before it bounces down. If it pushes through this, it might go all the way up to 60. I doubt it. I don't think it has that much momentum, even with all this compression. But I do think it definitely has the amount of consolidation pressure to, when it busts out of this triangle, to hit this range right here, which is 48. So that's a big difference. And I could show you if we look at, okay, well, what's the difference here? If you say, well, if it's 36.2, you get 0.0012. If it's 48, how much do you get? Oh, it's going to tell me. I don't have as much. So I'll just, to demonstrate, we'll cancel that. There you go. So instead of 0.0012, you only get 0.0009. So you get 3 points less, even though those are 1,000th of a percentage point, which is kind of ridiculous, right? It's such small money. But I said, if it's bigger money, it makes a bigger difference. Nonetheless, it's your money. You always want to buy it as low as possible. Any of this is a good deal. I'd say this is a good time to buy, because if it does break out to the upside, you don't want to regret not having an opportunity. And this is still going to be a great price 4 years from now. This is a great price to buy Bitcoin right now. And if it drops down into 20K, buy more. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. And I think 25 to 26, if it drops down to the low side, that's what we'll be looking at, is like a 20, somewhere in like maybe a 28 kind of time frame or monetary value. It might go down to like 27, 28,000 on the low side. And show you one more chart before we go here that I like to look at. And this is we're talking about, oh, where is that? Here, short position, long position. Okay. So if we pick short position, and I say, okay, well, say it breaks out, what's it going to do? It shows me, well, this is like this is a different type of trading. It's saying this isn't a predictor necessarily, but I'll say it would be something like this. Let's see if I can. It's not working. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't show you the bottom, but basically, this is the range. If it breaks out to the low side, it's going to pop down to about here, 28.3. Pops out to the upside, it's probably going to test 50. And that's it, folks. So, like I said, if you're buying small amounts, it's not that big of a difference. You might as well just buy it now. Just get in the game, and then sit back and watch. And if it goes low, buy more. And if it goes high, wait until it comes down. If it gets up around 60, you might want to consider you just don't let it get above 60 with a brand new candle, because it's probably never going to come back down to sub 40 level. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped. Good night. We are out of here.